we are made, according to the Bible, in the image and likeness of God, male and female, binary gender categories, 2 gender categories, male and female. True?
Yes.
True? Okay. Now in addition to human beings, there are divine beings. Human beings have a body, so we have a gender, male and female. Divine beings do not have a body, so they are not engendered. They are transgender. In the unseen realm of the divine beings, there are angels and demons. Angels and demons in the Bible, true or false, when they do appear, sometimes they appear male, sometimes they appear female. True or false? If you know the Bible, it's true. So spirits are non-binary. They're transgender. They live on a spectrum. True or false? In the Bible, angels never show up to have sexual relations. Holy angels never show up to have sexual relations with human beings. True or false? True. Demons often show up to be involved in sexual relations between human beings. True or false? True. So God made us in his image and likeness, and demons want us to remake ourselves in their image and likeness. To become non-binary, transgender, on a spectrum, which means we must castrate the men. We see this interaction between human beings and unholy divine beings in Genesis 6. It says that the sons of God, that's language from Job chapter 38, for divine beings, they sought to mate with the daughters of men, those are human beings, to create a super race that would be a counterfeit of the incarnation of Jesus Christ, spiritual father, but a physical mother. Everything God creates, Satan counterfeits. So let me go deeper. So I was sitting on my vacation, and I'd never heard this or read this my whole life, that the demonic realm is transgender, non-binary, on a spectrum, and that men who are going to serve the Jezebel spirit have to be castrated and become defiant of their God-assigned gender and sex. In the ancient world, there was a cult, a religion that worshiped a female deity named Cybele. I believe behind it was Jezebel. In various cultures, the worship of a female deity is also called the Anatolian mother goddess, Cybele, Agdesis, Rhea, Meter Theon, and Magna Mater. Now here's what's interesting. In the history of the world, and I'll read it from a non-Christian textbook in a moment, wherever the worship of a female deity spread, the high priests and those who worshiped her were men who had to be castrated, transgender, wear women's clothes, makeup, and hair, and go out in public singing and dancing for all ages shows as drag queens. New days, old demons. Some within the trans community will admit this, and they will say that Cybele is, quote unquote, the trans god. The same spirit may have been at work in the New Testament days of Paul. Just rabbit trail. Galatians, Paul's arguing with them, and he says early on in the book, who has bewitched you? Meaning there's a demonic spirit of confusion over the church. And then in chapter 5, verse 12, he says, why don't you men go all the way and castrate yourselves? He's saying the way you're thinking is Jezebelian. Julius Firmicus Maternus. He was a Roman Latin writer who became a Christian apologist during the reign of Constantine. He speaks of the galley priests of Cybele and Attis in the mid-4th century AD. Here's what he says, okay? 4th century. Let me quote the Christian scholar. Of those priests who served female deities, they wear effeminately nursed hair and dress in soft clothes. They can barely hold their heads up by their limp necks. Then, having made themselves alien to masculinity, swept up by playing flutes, they call on their goddess to fill them with an unholy spirit. Augustine, the church father, says this: with dripping hair and painted faces, with flowing limbs and feminine walk, they passed through the streets and alleys of Carthage, exacting from merchants that by which they might shamefully live. Augustine says, one of our biggest problems, we have a bunch of Ahab men who are dressing up like women, feeling as victims, expecting to be compensated so they don't have to go to work.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Pastor Mark. I've been teaching the Bible for more than 3 decades and head on constant collisions with woke culture. And I would love to get you more Bible teaching. 2 things you can do. Go ahead and watch the sermon in total and also subscribe to the channel. And I'll just keep sending you Bible teaching and we'll have a lot more fun together.